Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals. It is Thursday, June 18th, 2026. It is 7:30. We're here at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way in Byfield. We're in the second floor hearing room. I am the chair, Eric Spahn. We have our administrative assistant, Chrissy Beaupre. We have member Jack Carnavale. We have, Mario Carnavale. We have member Jack Kelly, and we have our liaison to the planning board, Larry Murphy. Let's open the first one, the old business.
Okay. Yeah, this public hearing, Peter Nicolopoulos, 129 Northern Boulevard, was a continuation from 5/21. Continuation request received from applicant's representative Savoy Nolan to the next regular scheduled meeting, which will be 7/16/26 here at Town Hall, 12 Kent Way, second floor hearing room, 7:30 p.m. to allow time for the board to review the revised submittal. So that has been continued.
Submitted a brand new submittal last week
Okay.
in reconsideration of the project.
And you said the 17th or the 16th?
16th?
The 16th.
7/16.
Oh, 7/16.
No, it's for some reason.
That's Jack.
Sorry, I don't have.
That's all right. It's okay. I got it here. July.
It's our, I'm just double triple check.
Yeah, it's 16th.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so is there a motion to be had for a continuance?
Motion to continue.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we have a continuance to July 16th. That's 7:30 here at the second floor hearing room. Great.
Okay.
All right, number two.
Gerald Fandetti, 15 Sunset Drive, applicant requesting a special permit finding for relief of sections 97-4D5C01, increase in footprint, and 02, increase in height of the Newbury zoning bylaws and any other permit relief as may be required under the Town of Newbury zoning bylaws to allow the proposed use project for the raising of the existing single-family dwelling on the property and the construction of a new single-family dwelling on pilings with a garage on the property located at 15 Sunset Drive, Plum Island, Newbury, Mass. 01951, Assessor's Map U02, Lot 80, and this has been continued from 5/21.
Okay, and as an administrative matter, we have Jack Kelly, who is a member, who was not at the last meeting, but is here tonight, and has, as our one mulligan rule, has watched the video of the previous meeting to understand what transpired, and so we'll be here as a voting member tonight.
Correct. I did watch it, and I do have a couple comments, but we'll get to them in time.
Great. So is the applicant here?
Yes.
Hello, applicant. Do you have anything new to present, or?
Thank you, members of the board. We submitted revised documents, and we submitted documents requested by the board, and we can review those and get the board's comments on it.
Okay. So we have a new FAR checklist. We have a, looks like an FAR diagram of the building and the rooms and the areas. We have a lot coverage checklist.
So Mario raised some questions yesterday about discrepancies in lot forms, so Everett was great in his revised form states.
Okay. So we then have your study of the neighborhood and listing, it looks like houses and areas and square footages. And what Chrissy just said is that we have an updated site plan, because there were some revisions made to it.
On the lot coverage.
On the lot coverage?
Form,
On the lot coverage form.
clarification of the figures.
Okay, is the site plan new?
No, just sent from Everett as an example of what will be, what is presented
Okay,
for a better understanding.
okay, I think I got that. So if I have it, that. Then we have, it looks like a design package with floor plans and elevations that are slightly rendered. And then we have a full-scale site plan, which I assume matches this small one.
Yes.
May I just add that there was one other item that was sent via PDF, but because it's 6 feet long, I'm sure you don't have printed copies. We have one printed copy to show.
Okay. And that represents what?
It's a montage of the whole streetscape of
Okay.
15
So we have a
Sunset.
montage of the streetscape. You have a list of all the,
I gave you the 11 by 17 sheet of all the, comparison of all the addresses in the neighborhood.
Okay.
But I did not print the montage.
I didn't expect you to,
Okay,
because
sorry.
it's 6 feet long.
Yeah. I can send them the email that you sent of the file, but
Well, I assume they got all that
they did.
electronically.
They did.
Yeah.
Actually, they did.
yep. And then also we received a letter
That came in this
from Jay
afternoon.
Martell that came in today.
Yes.
Okay. So, we have a lot of new information before us, and we ended the meeting with your presentation of the project. We had some discussion about the size of the project. Some of the board members felt it was too large, and we were looking for some means to understand what that was in relation to what could be comparable as the rest of the neighborhood. You obviously have rights to redevelop something, the question is what? And that's how we're trying to figure that out. That's where we stand right now.
Correct.
Okay, so, Jack, do you have any questions to get you up to speed, so to speak? Do you want to hold your questions for first discussion?
I just have, one simple question, and then we'll hold the rest of the discussion. I think it was the architect who mentioned that, I'm asking about the interior access for the guest quarters suite, which is now storage. And there's no door that I could find from the interior of the house,
Yeah.
just
And-
from the outside, and then, obviously it's a set of stairs on the outside.
And that's still true. Frankly, we have not resolved this. I'm not sure that it particularly matters if the stairs at the bottom of if the door is at the bottom of the stairs or at the top of the stairs. It's a storage facility, so it doesn't even, it doesn't particularly.
And I think I heard Mr. Fandetti say we were gonna store a lot of his wife's artwork up there and stuff.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Well, how's she gonna make it up the stairs?
Well,
I've seen her, she's
Doesn't
been in a
mean she's
wheelchair.
going up there.
Oh, she's not going up there.
No, we have a lot, well, I have a collection of items I would be storing up there also. I mean, it's not just her stuff, she has a lot of stuff that needs to be put away.
Okay.
she's got a lot of people that help her move stuff all the time.
We have staff, let's put it that.
Okay, I was just confused about that, thank you.
All right, but the only,
Yeah, for now.
okay, and then with the new, so let's discuss the new information that's been presented, okay? We have an updated site plan. We have, are there any revisions to point out?
Yes, actually, I think it's important that we point out that we have gone from a 2-car garage to a 1-car garage.
Okay,
To try and reduce the size, so it was 572 square feet. As a 2-car garage, we've now gone down to 1 at 374 square feet. That also means that the space above the garage has been reduced from 572 to 374 square feet. We've also eliminated one of the bathrooms, one of the larger bathrooms, so that we pulled one of the addition on the right-hand side in by 9 feet. So that, I actually don't know the square footage offhand, that's reduced it, but by a few hundred square feet. So that's what's brought the total square footage down from, oh, I thought I had that number handy, but I think it's 3988. 3988 down to 3075.
Okay.
Yeah, we reduced about 900 square feet.
We, I think, in terms of what was submitted, saw, or at least I saw, some difference of numbers. And so that was one of the questions as to, okay, what's changed and why, when, where is it, so that we can track it and understand it in what we're looking at.
Well, you can see by comparing the two FAR diagrams of the, that were included with the application.
Yep.
While he's looking at that, I have just a question on this sheet,
Which one?
the
Which
FAR
one is that?
sheet, the FAR checklist.
FAR, yeah.
Yeah. When I add all this column here,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get 2701.
What did you get?
I got 3449
When you added this up?
when I added that column up, yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll just take a moment. and
Go
I'll-
ahead,
I'll
please
pull out my
do.
calculator.
Please do.
I've got those.
You got the 3449? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, the garage is. That's puzzle. Just give me,
Yeah,
a minute, 'cause I'm
yeah.
gonna go.
Is that right? Is that the number
Well-
you came up with?
What was the number that you got again?
3449? 3449.
No, I'm getting an entirely different number, so
Okay.
either I've got nerves or,
Okay.
or my calculator.
Take your time. Take your
You,
time.
you said you reduced the square footage by how much? Do you have that number?
3988 down to 3075. Now, we should be clear, there's so many different ways to count. I mean, there's living area, there's FAR, there's counting the garage, not counting the garage. There's so many different ways to count this.
I just based it just on what you have here.
Yeah. I have a total floor, yeah, let me continue to take that time. I have 3075, which is 2701 plus the 374 for the second floor.
What do you have? 3075?
Yeah, but you carry on with the meeting and let me
Okay.
just.
Because I got that number when I took out one of the 374s. I got that number. When I added both of them, which are in here, I got the 3499.
Okay,
It's not 2701.
yeah. Yep. Yep.
Okay. If you take the 3449 and you minus 2701, you come up with 748.
Where are you minusing?
I'm just saying that when you add all this up,
Right. That comes out to that, right?
right, and then you minus this, it's a difference of
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So if you take that number times 0.5, it's 374 equals that number.
Right, but are we counting these in here?
Well, there's
There's
the
two in here.
storage closet
And
above
garage.
carport
Yeah.
is here.
Should they take that out?
Well,
Because they had it back here.
True. So if it's a garage and it's conditioned, or it's not conditioned, it's a garage, it's not counted as habitable space, but then if
The
it's-
bottom part.
Yeah, but if it's storage space and it's heated and it's finished and it's heated, you know, we've had that question about where the door is, then it's in.
Yeah.
So it's the question of these two
Right.
is
Yeah.
the difference between this and that.
Yeah. But that number should be different, right? Just by adding them up, or you just take them out.
Yeah, and so what we're saying is that this is out,
Right.
this is in.
And then you get 3075.
If you look at the,
Which is here.
But then they added here, this is the second floor they add.
Yeah, so, okay, so this number up here
Right.
is what we're gonna say is 3449, take away 347 is going to be
Right.
3057.
Right.
So this is a repeat. This is everything measured, it comes up with a number. Then we just ask them to take that number and divide it between first floor and second floor, and then retotal it. This number, and that number should all be the same number.
Okay.
This seems to be correct.
That,
This seems to be correct.
this should be different?
Yeah.
That was proposed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This number should match that.
Okay.
So I think that you added the storage closet above the carport at 374, which is correct.
yep,
I think you added the garage carport at 374, which is not correct.
that could be. I
So
know,
if you take 3,449 and you minus 374, you come up with 3,075.
yes, that's
So
correct.
the proposed square footage number of 2,701 should actually be 3,075. And then that number matches your breakout of the first floor and the second floor, which
Yes.
equals 3,705. You
Yes,
have total floor area as 3,075 at the top. You divided that number into the lot size, and you came up with a floor area ratio of 17.
that's correct.
Okay, so, everyone's gotta take a line through the carport and just cross it off, and then cross off 2701 and write 3075.
Yes, so that number I took as the total of the first floor, not counting the carport. And then it says total second floor, that's on the line below. Yeah,
So this totals to a number. This number just gets broken between first and second, so this number and this number should match.
yep.
This
Okay.
number, and the number you put up here are all the same number. So it's really just this one,
Take that out.
yeah, cross the carport off,
Sure.
revise that number, and then everything else is correct on the page.
So does that mean the 2701 goes away?
The 2701 goes away and gets replaced with 3075.
Yeah, I had that as the first floor total, and then at the bottom I added
Yep.
the second floor.
I had a question regarding the difference in the square footage from 1498 to the now 17,000. What happened on the lot size?
Jared, do you want to speak to the lot size?
Yeah, I think the difference was when you didn't add the new section that was put in,
Okay.
the triangular piece that we all approved, or you all approved.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Did
a fact.
you look at that?
No, still,
Okay.
still thinking that, so let's go to that right now. What were you saying, Marion?
The original square footage in the last document they submitted was 1498, I think, something around there. And now the new document for the lot size is 17,719.
And 17,719 square feet is listed as existing and stamped on Everett Chandler's survey.
That was today, that come today?
This is new.
That's new?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, no.
Everett sent it for clarification to support the boards.
okay.
So, everything in this chart needs to match everything in the application. So if we're questioning the 17,719, then the 17,719 is here.
Okay.
I assume if we take what we previously had as a line and we add that
I think it was,
back in, that is the difference of
difference.
what's going on here.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that was a question on lot size. So taking, making the building a little smaller, seeing that the lot size was adjusted, takes the FAR down from just under 0.25 now to 17. Because 0.25 to 17, I mean, that's 0.8, seems like a big move, but there's two things that are affecting that. It's you cut some of the building by reducing the garage and the bathroom, and the lot is actually bigger than what was previously stated. Okay, so do we have, I guess my question is, does the lot size match the lot size in the decisions that were written for the two pieces of property?
That would be on the A&R plan that was approved through planning, which is
that-
also included in the packet. If not full size, it's 11 by 7 in that one. It's third or fourth plan under that comparison.
Well, this one here.
Oh,
Thank you. Okay, so this, in our plan states in the upper right-hand corner of the actual lot that the area of parcel 1 is 17,718. So we've got you got a foot larger, this got a foot smaller. We're pretty close. See that? Right?
Right there, okay.
So you're looking at, this is the new survey.
I'm looking at that.
Yep, this smaller 11 by 17
Same.
was what was filed during the decision when the lots were
Okay.
revised.
All right, so they're a square foot off, that's okay.
Yeah, so we're double checking that what we, previous decision and what's being currently stated are in fact the same. Okay. I think you can overlook the foot as being a rounding decision. Were there any other, did you come up with any other comments in terms of looking at the application? And
I did not.
I didn't either. I think that was just the
Yeah?
understanding of what changed.
No. I just want to confirm that, after going through all this math, the existing FAR is 4% and we're going to 17%, is that the proposed So that's where, those are the numbers we got, 4 to 17, is that correct?
Sounds about right.
Okay, thank you.
In looking at the site, I drove up there, there's an existing house, and when you pull up, there's like, seems to be apparently a foundation in front of you. Was that, that's not on any of the plans. Is it a foundation? I mean, it looked like two strips.
I think
or
it's a
something.
combination of foundation and slab. It's about 4.5 feet high, and it's where there's a boiler.
You mean, like, when you drive here, sort of park your car here, and it slopes uphill, this is the existing building,
Yep.
there's seemingly something,
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Some
Yeah.
concrete structure?
it's something, I mean, I wasn't gonna kick it too hard. And wasn't gonna dig around, but it just seemed, it was enough of something existing that wasn't on this plan, that's all. And was just, usually surveyors are overly helpful to show everything and anything that confuses us to what's going on. So, and I'm just trying to see if there was another structure there at one time, that's all.
Could have been.
I believe on the assessor's page, it says the house was original 1880.
Okay,
I
so
mean-
there's a lot of history.
Yeah, and there's some concrete buried under some of the sand, so we're not sure the extent of that. And that may be why the surveyor did not put that.
Is
in.
that what's labeled on the new plan, is, I assume, concrete, CONC, CONC,
Yeah.
CONC in 3 or 4 places?
Yeah,
Kind of where the driveway meets the new house.
yeah. Been there a long time.
Yep. All right, hang on a second. So, that's the FAR.
Do you have questions on that? or-
Okay, hang on a second.
Okay.
I will take your comments in a second, but I'd just like to get to the lot coverage checklist. Any questions with the lot coverage being at 19.1? So it's got a primary dwelling, it's got decks, it's got some roof hangs which are greater than 20 inches. Where are those roof hangs that are greater than 20 inches? Are they,
It's as you come to the front entry, so if you look like, for example, the elevation of the front of the house,
yep,
there's a roof overhang by the corner of the screen porch back to the entry.
It creates sort of a covered entrance situation.
okay,
It's an extension of the covered entrance, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Oh, yeah, I get it. Okay, usually we have to pick that out, most people don't list that. 10, lot. Okay, so we've got the basis of revised drawings that we had some questions on. We have walked through the application in terms of lot coverage and FAR. We've heard that the building has been reduced by a bathroom and a half a garage. And we are now,
And a half of a second floor storage unit.
and that half of the second floor storage goes with half of the garage. Okay, so before we get to the information about the neighborhood and the size, I'm gonna ask if there's anybody here that would like to speak either for or against, and please stand up, state your name and,
Well, they didn't stand and I'd rather not stand,
Okay,
but
sure.
I'd be happy to say my name is Margaret Thomas, I'm at 14 Columbia Way. I just need some clarification on things. It's my understanding at the last meeting, it was determined that there in fact is only one bedroom in the existing square footage, and on this sheet it says it's 2 still, so should that be taken away and made down to 1, so that we keep it consistent as we go forward?
I'm happy to update that plan
Yeah.
to say 1 bedroom as opposed to 2. I mean, I think it's on the record that we agreed that it was a 1 bedroom, but
It
Existing,
should just reflect the record, that's all I'm asking.
absolutely, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
so where is it state?
The plan that I submitted after I measured the existing house, I
Yes.
labeled them as
Oh.
the 2 rooms as bedrooms.
Yep,
I'm happy to amend that and call one a bedroom and one a living room.
got it. That's
And
in the previous drawing.
In the existing, the storage closet above the carport, I didn't notice a carport there, the existing.
No, not in the existing.
It says it's here, you have 150 square feet.
Can you tell me what,
Sure, it's on the far list.
I
It says
didn't create that,
150
so,
carport.
oh, storage.
It says carport. Storage closet, carport.
Carport.
150? Right here.
Oh, above carport.
Yeah,
I don't know why it says above carport there.
okay.
That's the storage area.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just thought we were gonna correct it.
Yep, okay.
I have a second question or clarification. Bathrooms. I just want to make sure I'm understanding that the bathroom number 1, which is 48 square feet, is not going to exist in the proposed square footage, is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the
The
question?
bathrooms, the way that I read this right now,
Yep.
is I'm trying to decide whether there's 2.5 baths or 1.5 baths in this house, and I can't tell from the sheet.
There's 1.5 baths.
1.5, so the 48 goes away, so if I were to look at proposed square footage and next to bathroom 1, it should be NA, because it's not gonna be there. That's all I was asking, so then there's gonna be a 100 square foot bathroom, and then there's gonna be a half bath of 31 square feet. So there's 1.5 baths in the house. Correct?
Yes, bathroom 2, you can call it bathroom 1. It's just a question of which line I deleted or where the existing number happened to be, at
Right.
what line it happened to be in. So yes, 106 for bathroom 1 or 2, call it number 1, we can make that correction. And then the half bath of 31, that's correct.
So there's 1.5 baths in the house, okay. That's one. And if you go back over to the lot coverage, the numbers don't foot out to the ones that we just talked about, and I just wanted to make that, they should all foot out when you're done.
So the lot coverage
Uh-huh,
is the total, so the FAR is the habitable space within inside the walls.
got it,
The FAR is, so the lot coverage is going to be a bigger number because it's to the outside walls. It includes any decks or stairs.
okay,
It includes any overhangs that are over 22 inches.
okay,
And it includes anything that is man-made, like a shed or something else.
okay,
So the reason the lot coverage is at 20% is because it's the footprint of everything man-made. And then the FAR gets a slightly greater percentage because it's usually including like a second floor on top of the first floor, and so it's 25% as opposed to 20.
okay. Great, thank you.
Yep. And there's something weird about covered decks, but we're not gonna get into that right now.
I have a question on that same topic.
Your
I'm
name,
Paul-
please?
Paula Irving, 26 Columbia Way.
Yep.
Just when it's lot, I'm sorry, 16, I have both actually, but the primary dwelling, does that include the storage area? Because the garage isn't added on to that lot coverage. That section, so we have 3056 and the garage is not included as part of the lot coverage. So I'm just wondering if it's included in the 3056 number somehow, or if it's left out entirely.
That would have been I mean, I didn't prepare the lot coverage, but that would have been, because there's a second floor, that number is included because the second floor counts as lot coverage.
It's in there,
Yeah.
in the primary dwelling section.
I would
So
think so, yes.
And you can't quite take the numbers off the FAR and see that they slide directly over to the lot coverage because the numbers on the lot coverage are different. And we do, we have a surveyed drawing which says the lot coverage is at 19.1, which matches the application sheet, and this drawing was prepared by an engineer who stamped and signed this drawing to say that he validated his work. So sometimes we have a little bit of judgment call if an owner says it's blue and we don't think quite so, but when it's on a stamped drawing by a professional engineer who put a stamp and a license on it, we take it is believable and he's putting his name behind it, so we tend to try to say the right thing here. You know, we take what he has given us.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I just thought since it was a separate line item and it wasn't included, that maybe it was
You know,
like.
the
Yeah.
forms
Yeah.
might be a little better sometimes. Sometimes it's a little bit of who's just filling it out and how much they do, and other
Okay.
times they just take the whole thing and flop it on there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one more question?
Yep, I have another question about driveways are not included under the lot coverage.
Correct.
Okay, and so, but it's assumed that the driveways are gonna be permeable.
That's up to COMCOM if they have a decision regarding that.
Yeah, we're all not allowed to have it, so I would assume he's not gonna be allowed to have it.
And it's, our purview is that they're providing enough parking and parking spaces as required by the bylaw. The actual construction of the driveway is really not in our purview, so,
No, I understand it's not, so it goes to the Conservation Commission to talk about that.
yes,
Absolutely, I understand that one.
that is correct.
Right.
And certainly, everybody on Plum Island, as you said, the direction is for less impervious, more pervious, better drainage,
Right.
and things that don't affect drainage or affect the island to the detriment.
Right, because that's a pretty big driveway too.
All right, so,
Huge.
It will be pervious, what's the word?
Permeable.
It will be permeable, I guess.
However,
Yes, absolutely.
there are many very impermeable driveways in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Just want to make that
No,
comment.
there aren't many, there are a few, yes, I agree with you. Mine is not, Paula's is not,
And this will
my
not.
neighbor's is not.
Yeah, no, ours will not be because it's the current code.
Right,
But,
exactly.
there are previous ones that were done,
I understand the mailman did it somehow.
yeah.
You know that.
yeah, he gets all over the island, doesn't he? Okay. Do you have any questions, sir?
I appreciate it. I appreciate the board's diligence. You have my comments from tonight. My only comment would be, I believe that with all the questions that have come up tonight, the application is still very incomplete with the numbers, and I would request that a continuance would be in order to clarify the application and to correct it.
Okay, we still have a big piece to go through.
Understood, that's my only comment.
Okay.
But thank you.
But, yeah, we appreciate you speaking up, so then now we can move to that. And before we do have your letter that was submitted this afternoon.
I appreciate it. Does not
Yep.
need to be read in.
You submitted it. I think we'd like just to, if I could paraphrase it.
100 paraphrase would be excellent, thank you.
Okay. So, written today, June 18th. There's a supplemental submission. This is by Mr. J. Martell. This is, it says to submit the letter to the board for consideration, but not for it doesn't have to be read into the record. I think anything that comes before us, anything that hits the table, we'd like to make public record for everybody's benefit. And so that's the first part. 2, you have a question about the McGovern Design Neighborhood Data Report. Survey shows 44 properties. And you're making a statement about the accuracy of what we're about to discuss in terms of the information provided. And you use your own house as an example of finished living area on the applicant's report and on the assessor's card, in which there's a difference. And so we'll get to the validity and how things were put together and how we understand that. and I think you have a couple paragraphs to make that, to state all that information, and then there's a comment about the garage has been reclassified to include space, to separately listed space. The second floor above the garage shrank from 574 to 572 to 374. So, as we said, the garage was cut from a 2 to 1, and the space above was cut in half, and there was some reduction in the bath. So, that is your letter. Do you have a copy of this by chance?
We just got the copy.
We got it this evening, yeah.
Does anybody out there need a copy? Okay. Thank you. So we paraphrased the letter, if you would use that word. Say that it was submitted, then it was paraphrased. Okay. So the board, some members of the board had felt that the project proposed structure was very large on the site. And in the process of the two lots, requesting a new lot line between the two lots, there was great discussion about how that should come about, and the reasoning being is that the Dartmouth Way is not an improved way. You can't even see it. Like, it's not even a dirt road a kid would ride his bike on. It's just bushes or something, right? So the full intent was to try to give you enough street access to create a legitimate lot. And in that process, the lot line was moved around a little bit, and what we had asked was an overview of the neighborhood so that we could understand what was being created. And as a result of that, the discussion then said, look, you really have to try to make these two lots equal. You can't make a super lot and a tiny lot, because then you would be favoring one and put a big structure on it, and you'd have a smaller one, which obviously would have a smaller one. So that's how the lots got divided. So now the lot has a square footage, both lots have a square footage, and of that square footage, there is lot coverage and FAR guidance in the bylaws. And now we're at the point of understanding that you're within those dimensional criteria of the bylaw, and that there is still a question about size in terms of its relationship to the neighborhood as to be not more detrimental to the surrounding neighborhood. So I'd ask you to explain the map and the listing of how this came about, and we appreciate the legwork to help make the point one way or the other that we're here. And so this, when was this issued? When did you get this?
Monday.
And then as per request of the board, I added 3 properties.
Yep.
Was that last night?
Yes.
I think that was just last night.
Yeah, I know she didn't even add 15 and 11, so it's just.
Yeah.
I did add.
I know.
Yeah,
That-
and
that
I
was the
added
prior
one more. I added 14 because you requested 12, but I had already done 12. So I thought maybe you meant 14, so
Okay.
I added
No,
14.
thank you, appreciate it.
You made a request.
14
Can you
was.
just clarify what property, what 3 those were? I'm sorry.
Oh, 14 Annapolis Way, 25 Columbia Way,
And
and
15
then
and
11
11,
and 15 Sunset, which,
2 properties.
yeah, and then you asked about 22, but 22 was combined with, well, I'm not sure which one, but 20 or 24.
Okay. So we have a color-coded map, and on the color-coded map, there's a radius drawn around the property, and there's red-colored ones that are on the butters list, and then there's yellow ones that are not on the butters list. And that's listing of all the properties.
That's correct.
Is every colored property been listed on here?
Yes,
Alright.
everything that's colored at all is on that list.
Okay. Is there any property that's not colored that's on this list?
No. Yep. Not quite all the way down, but I'm getting there. Yes, yes. I included down Sunset Drive because I felt like that was a neighborhood also that was important for the streetscape. And to that point, I do have a copy of the montage. I don't know if you want me to unroll this at this point or not, but
Yeah, let's get through these two pieces,
Yep,
and then
yep.
let's see where that fits in to this. So, have you looked at this?
I did.
And have you looked at this?
Well, I just got it tonight, so,
Okay, so you are looking at it.
yes.
Okay, and so why don't you walk us through what you put together here and
Sure.
what this means?
right.
Okay.
So, let me just say, I do not know Plum Island all that well, so I was indiscriminate initially in picking my properties. And I will suggest, I mean, it's interesting, I've been very sympathetic to the neighbors, and I'm not accustomed to designing oversized houses. I really take a lot of pride in being contextual and appropriate. And when I started this exercise, I was not expecting it to reveal what it revealed to me, which is that there's a lot of different kinds of properties on Plum Island. And it's kind of crazy. In general, I would say what I've learned from doing this is that there's a good amount of the properties that are well over the FAR. There are a good amount of properties that are well over the open space or lot coverage percentage. Our house fits, it does comply, the proposed house does comply. It's less than the average number of houses that are over the square footage. It is much less than the average FAR that is out there. I will say that when I was calculating the FARs, and I understand that you may find issue with this, is that, and I tried to be really clear in the notes, is that I did include basements. And you can see that I've given the exact square footage of every basement that I've included. And I did that to point out a couple things. Not only do we by not having a basement, we don't have the detrimental effects on the environment by having a basement like these other existing properties do, but also we don't have the benefit of putting storage down in the basements. Now, it's very hard for me to know which basement is being used as a living area and which basements aren't. I will say that in my survey, I looked at every picture and I looked at every assessor's page for each property. And many of the properties clearly have windows in their basements and they have garages in their basements. So some of them are definitely being used and some of them probably aren't, and that's probably a margin of error in the notes. So I freely admit to that. Nevertheless, I think the percentages if you take all the basements and include them, then the number of houses that are over on the FAR is pretty significant. And you know, the other thing that I learned from doing this exercise is I got the general picture of what I call the neighborhood, which is both Sunset Drive and the immediate abutters and a little bit beyond the immediate abutters. Is that what we're proposing seems to fit squarely on the modest side in some cases, and it does not seem like an aberration and does not seem detrimental to the overall feel of the neighborhood. I also want to critically point out that it's from mean grade to mean roof height. We've even come down from last time because we've made the garage smaller now. We're down to 23'8". Many of these properties I looked at, I didn't include it in the spreadsheet, but are you know, arguably 3 stories high, maxing out on the 35 feet. Anyway, I don't know. I didn't give a very good walkthrough of the spreadsheet, and I would hesitate to get into the minutia of particular properties because I did say there is a margin of error, but the conclusion for me is still the same. I find what we're proposing not at all detrimental relative to a lot of the properties that are out there.
I'd like to say also that the issue of many of these older houses having basements, although they're not counted technically in the FAR, they are usable spaces. And when we build this new house, we don't have that advantage of having a usable space under the house. We just don't have it. And in this case, we can't even park our car under the house because of the slope of the topography of the land. So in our case, we don't have the use of a basement. We don't have use of storage under the house, whether it's open storage or parking storage. We don't have that benefit. And now that we're having we've reduced our storage room upstairs, we have hardly any storage. So this house is a very conservative house relative to the neighborhood. And it's much lower in height than, especially the house abutting our property, which is extremely high, even though the average height may be 35 feet. Its roof height to the peak is at least 40 feet. So we're very modest in comparison to the neighborhood. Very modest. That's my comment.
And you have some two-story spaces, but the only second level space is the storage above the garage.
Yes.
And there's no outside roof deck on top of the building.
No.
Could I ask you just about?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you the one question in your letter about what the discrepancy, because, and I'll go through the comment in a second, but go ahead.
I'm just trying to, one clarification, the PIOD, is anybody aware when that was put into context? Early 2000s, possibly?
It was put in when the sewer was agreed to.
But, yeah, about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So my only comment to that is, I believe like Mr. Fiandetti is alluding to, is 6 Brynmawr Way is a towering property in the area. I believe that was put in before the PIOD, if I can remember correctly, I grew up there. That is what all of us abutters are trying to prevent. And the PIOD was put into place to prevent that from occurring again. So that's my only comment to that. And I agree with his statements. That is a towering.
Yes.
Yep. The PIOD was put in to control the number of bedrooms, to control the number of occupants, to control the sewer flow. You could have one bedroom and you could have four bathrooms. It's not an argument against bathrooms, it's just you only have 4 people, you only have one bedroom of people that are technically occupying the building that are using all those 4 bathrooms. So they put this PIOD in for 2 reasons. One is not to exacerbate the sewer. They went through and they counted every single lot and they counted everything existing, and then they gave everybody an ad per their size. The commercial is deemed detrimental only to the PIOD and the sewer, but not to the essence and the life of the island. I think most of us would agree on some statement like that, but we're not going to debate that tonight. And it was to keep Newburyport and Newbury together in what they would allow, so that the island as a whole for 2 different communities was being developed the same.
And the PIOD is what implemented the FAR restriction or caps?
Yeah, as a way to, if you can control the total area, then you can control the bedrooms, and there are other line items in the bylaw that says if your existing has 1, you get +1, because that's how they made their calculation. And then there is the premise or the purpose in the front of the PIOD that talks about light and air and exacerbation of impervious surfaces. And so And then also with the PIOD, it was recognized that nothing, almost nothing on Plum Island meets the base, because it's zoned agricultural residential, just like the whole town is. And that obviously doesn't work because it's a non-starter whatsoever, and you can't have everyone going to get a variance and prove a variance with the hardship of the land because some properties don't apply. And so the PIOD with the sewer kind of helps solve some of these super quirky things with people who have half their house on their neighbor's property and they still have a residence and they want to improve it, and people buying 2 lots. And so it's, all we're trying to do is meet the intent and interpretation of the bylaws and try to keep it fair for everybody, so that when one person develops a piece of property and other people don't like it, but they're also on a piece of property with a very small house, that property does have rights, and we're trying to make the rights equal.
And my only, just going back to the PIOD and the FAR, the anomaly that she had mentioned, that some of these FARs are well over, and the anomaly, that can be contextualized to pre-PIOD.
It is, and we've,
You take it under advisement, and it's understood, and it's
so
acknowledged.
we've been told repeatedly, and we've asked town council repeatedly, the leeway that we have in making decisions comes down to the opinion of not more detrimental to the neighborhood. If somebody had an older existing house and they want to rebuild and the FAR was over, it's not necessarily that they have the right to match the FAR that they had, but we understand that that's what they had, and if they're redeveloping new and they've actually taken their house off the neighbor, they've met all the setbacks, they've met the height, they've met the front, and they're improving the property with everything but an FAR that was over because of the previous structure. And we look at the neighborhood and we do the squint test and we look at the size of the lots and we say, well, even though it's got a larger FAR, it is improving all those other metrics, and it is in keeping with the neighborhood. It is not more detrimental to the neighborhood, even though the FAR is much greater than the PIOD. So we have made that judgment on properties, and no one judgment that we make like that is a blanket statement. Every single property is different and sits differently and has different neighbors, and so that's how I and we, the board, I advise the board, we try to size up everything. So
if I might jump in on that, Mr. Chairman,
yes,
it's not purely dimensional criteria, all right? There's a judgment part of it. You just can't come in here, not that you are, Mr. Fandetta, you just can't come in here and stamp your feet and say, I'm complying with FAR and lot size, you need to give me this permit. That's not how it works. It's called a special permit for a reason. It's discretionary, and the board has that discretion. And the way that the Commonwealth or the town has instructed us to apply it is through the phrase that he just used. Substantially more detrimental, or some towns don't even use substantially. Sometimes they just say more detrimental. So that's where the leeway comes in. So you can meet the dimensional criteria, as you are in this case, and still be asked to make some changes.
What would you say, I'm just curious, the number of properties that have come before the board that meet the dimensional requirements but have been rejected because they didn't meet the neighborhood requirement, the detrimental aspect? Does that happen often, is what I'm saying? How often does
I
that
can think
happen?
of a couple, but we try to work with people for the if it's going forward. Like he said, you made 2 lots. We didn't make a big and a small. We cut them in half. We made it better, hopefully.
Right.
we have rejected a few, even someone that built a structure and then tried to take that same structure and put it somewhere else. And we said, you know, that structure may have worked there for the reasons that were prevented, but it's not working over here, period. And most of the time when we come to a head and a issue, we're here to be helpful. You know, you're a resident, you own a property in town, we want to be helpful to everybody, and so we try to work things out as best we can.
Right.
It's an interesting question though, isn't it? Because this is a structure that supposedly was built in 1880. It's not a whole lot more than a small shack. I mean, it's quite run down. It's not up to any standards that any of us would want to live in this day and age. So it's an interesting question. Which is more detrimental? Is it more detrimental to have a new house that has been compromised and is already made smaller than what it could be if it were to follow the percentages exactly? We have compromised. We've made it smaller. Are we bettering? Is it more detrimental to the community to have a new house as opposed to a shack that no doubt will become animal infested over time if it remains as it is? You could argue it a lot of different ways.
There are, and people make the statements and make the case that they are increasing property values for everybody by having a new house. They've designed the house thoughtfully so it fits within the neighborhood, so it's benefiting the neighborhood. There are statements like that. And although we want to hear everything that you have to say, and we want to hear everything that the neighbors have to say, positively or negatively, there are certain things that we hear that we put over there. Like, we don't have any design guidelines, and even if I didn't like the color of your house, it's not like I can tell you that I'm going to reject it because it's brown, right? We just don't have the right to do that. This isn't like Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard or something. So we want to put it all together. We want to understand what you're going to do, and that's I don't know, subliminally part of thinking through this, but it's not something in terms of a line item that we can state and make a rejection on. So in looking at this list, I guess my one question and thought is that I think we can agree that the lot sizes are fairly accurate that are listed on here. You've done the FAR two ways here. And when you've done the FAR...
Well, the FAR is only done one way. There's the living area, which is...
the lot, okay, so I'm looking at, like, right, so out of this list, there's 16 of these are over the lot, yeah, I think 16 of these are over the lot coverage, and I think 28 of these are over the FAR. And then my question is, in trying to read through this and think through it, if there was a calculation that took the lot size and then took a calculation of 20%, how many of these would be allowed to be increased or not? Because we're looking at an existing condition to the neighborhood, and I'm also thinking that everybody has the same rights, and as soon as we get through this, the adjacent neighbor could come in and propose a bigger house on their lot only because they had a smaller house and their lot size would afford a bigger house. So I still don't have that answer in front of me in trying to size up how many of these properties are at and over per existing or have the right to increase what they have. In understanding that, I don't know, half these lots could actually have bigger structures on them. That's one way to look at the neighborhood. If most of these properties are at their max, then we are looking at the existing neighborhood. And again, I'm just trying to think of someone else's rights and your rights and put the two together. And that is typically what we ask people when they have an argument and they're just saying it's too big, and my house is very small. Well, you also have an equal lot size and you have the right to do the same thing should you ever want to. So it's you can't take away someone else's right for a right that you reserve for yourself. Okay, that was a lot.
Margaret Thomas on 14 Columbia Way. To your point about the FARs and the percentages here, I can tell you that for my house, I do not have a 200 square foot covered porch. I'd like to, but I don't have that. So I know that my FAR is wrong on this dial, and I can absolutely guarantee you, my father would never have allowed it.
I would take that up with the assessor's office then,
Yeah.
because all that data is from the assessor's page.
Okay,
Okay.
So, can I ask a question? I thought I was gonna have to go back and do all the math, and I was depressed. But you're saying the finished living area would be equal to the ZBA's definition of FAR?
No, not at all.
So then I have to go back to your definition of FAR and subtract out the...
I'm not trying to define FAR, I'm just saying if you were to include basements, that's what the FAR would be. That's what the floor area
Well, it also
ratio
has
would be.
basements and it also has covered and enclosed porches.
That is standard for counting FAR.
I thought it was just living space.
Yeah.
No, it's covered
All
porches.
covered porches, I mean,
Covered
that's,
porches are included in FAR.
I thought it was heated space. No, am I
No.
mistaken?
no.
I always thought.
No,
definitely a covered porch that's stacked on top of a porch counts as a double space for,
Anything that has a solid cover is considered as counting
Okay.
FAR. That's why I also would point that
So it's
out.
just the basements that were not clear on here?
the basements are not,
read the definition.
yes.
That's the only thing disputable.
Okay.
Is there language that states outside the conditioned envelope within the FAR?
No, that's not, FAR is covered porches and covered living space up to the exterior walls. That's what FAR is.
Might not be included with it.
Yeah, just as total floor area over lot size.
I mean, the living area, the living area equivalent that you see listed on there for the proposed house, I think ours is 2,076. For a living area, that's the heated space.
Yeah, I mean, our definition is floor area ratio, FAR, shall be construed as a mathematical expression determined by dividing the gross floor area of a building by the area of a lot on which it is located. And it says, for example, a lot with 12,000 square feet in a district with a maximum FAR of 0.25 could contain no more than 3,000 square feet of gross floor area. So the bylaw has been updated, I think, twice within the last 5 years in terms of updating definitions in different sections of it. The floor area gross shall mean the total square footage of the floor area under a roof within the outside dimensions of a building, including each floor level, without deduction for hallways, stairs, closets, thickness of walls, columns, other features. Unfinished attics and suspended basements outside the thermal envelope shall not be counted as gross floor area. So the
covered porches can be outside the thermal envelope and be counted, that's what you're saying? So that's where I was confused on.
You know, on the
yes,
application itself,
because it's not,
Okay.
because it's covered, that has been, it's
Covered.
not exactly clear, but that has been the guidelines that we have used before, because it's just adding increased, habitable space under a roof.
so this, on the special permit application, it even spells out, it actually even says basements can be included if they're considered by the building code to be a story. And then it says
Yep,
it's
that's
excluded when basements are not qualified under the building code as a story. So you could even argue that some of the, that it's legitimate to count basements if they're by building code a story. Now, it's pretty hard to determine that.
Yeah,
from-
and some are like, 5 feet and some are 6 feet
Right.
under the.
Right.
And
Sure.
I remember when the town added the suspended basement to help people get storage. And that was a situation where it wasn't classified as a story anymore, it was classified as a basement. So we still had the 2-story requirement, and you had a small basement space so you could have storage. I forget what the percentage of the
It
area
was a
was.
mechanical space that was
Yeah.
controlled or limited to like 250 square feet. So that
Exactly.
you
It was
could put a
two-
few beach chairs and you could
Yeah,
have
it was 2 feet above grade to
your
comply with
mechanical
conservation.
connection.
Yeah,
enclosure, and obviously you need a stair once the building is raised.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a recap, we have a building that was submitted. We have a building that has been reduced in size by, again, the garage, the storage over the garage, and a bathroom. And so what was first submitted and what is now submitted is reduced in size. The project, in terms of its calculations, meets the lot coverage, it meets the FAR, it meets the building height, it meets the bedrooms, it meets all the setback requirements, and so it meets the intent of the PIOD. And what we're still discussing and trying to determine is if there's a sense that it's too large and detrimental to the neighborhood.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. But would you mind if I, to that point,
Yeah.
since I did this montage and had it printed,
That's fine, now's the time.
I think to me this kind of clinches the deal that it is not more detrimental to the neighborhood, because this is all of, and I'm sorry, it's hard to show it to everybody at the same time. This is all of Sunset, no, not all of Sunset Drive. This is Sunset Drive down to about maybe 47 Sunset.
Yeah.
And when I look at this, I do not see a proposed house, and it is on there, that is in any way appears detrimental to the neighborhood. You can see I have
We need
it
an architect with more wingspan.
with longer arms.
Why
Yeah.
don't you put it? And this was submitted in PDF
It was, yes.
form, so we
Yes, you guys
do
have
have
it.
it, we did see it.
It looks tiny when you open it, but just expand it.
Yep,
Can I ask one clarification on that?
yes.
Is that to scale?
I took a camera and stayed
Yeah.
on the
Yellow line?
yellow line and took a picture of every house, and then I put ours in there as best as I could to be, I have no reason to try and make it look larger or
Understood,
smaller.
I'm just, you know, I mean, it's a legal document, so I'm just asking to scale.
You can
Is
see
it-
the yellow
is it
line in
legal?
each picture.
No, I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah,
But it's also representative of Sunset Drive, which is very different from.
Absolutely.
From Columbia Way, Bryn Mawr, Dartmouth, all of that is very different.
yep,
So,
Since we're the ones who are from
So
the area that is very
It's
different,
2,000 square feet.
that's why we're concerned.
yep, I just can't do a montage of your neighborhood.
No, I realize that, I'm just saying that that's why we have concerns. If you went down to 47 Sunset, you're right, you wouldn't have the same issues.
23.
Actually, I didn't know as far as 47.
When they were considering this was not considered.
This is gonna be a big house.
it's from here
Yeah.
to here.
Yep. Okay. Oh, I did go down to 47, is that true?
Well, here's 47.
I think I may have only made it back this far.
Okay.
I think that might be this road down.
There's plans to build on. And we already-
We didn't get the new proposed houses at the end.
No, the condos at the end, yeah.
Those were there,
yeah.
right? Those would sort of have
Well, they're gonna be this
Oh,
little
Because he didn't trust.
file
the
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
we
Whatever
make the
it
difference.
is.
So you can see that this is huge.
This
Sure.
house has been down.
Because I have here Sunset, like 17's 2,000 square feet, 19's 1,900 square feet, 7 is 1,200 square feet, 23 is 1,000 square
Okay.
feet.
But if you're looking, I don't know what number that is. If that's a living area,
Living area.
then our living area is 2,079, or 2,070 something square feet. So you just gotta compare.
Yeah, no, I
apples to
get it, I
apples.
get
Yeah.
it. This was, I did this prior.
Oh, is
when
this
you-
something you did? Okay.
This is for when you were looking at, the 3,400 square foot house on the 14,000 square
Oh,
foot lot.
yeah,
So
which was-
these
that
are,
was kinda-
that was,
that
we
was way
appreciate,
off.
we appreciate
Yeah.
you guys, slimming down.
Yeah, good.
And the lot backing up.
Does anybody wanna come up and see this?
I can also,
It's here, it's open. Thank you.
Yeah, and as I was saying,
you go around the backside, that's the problem, is our houses are a lot smaller. But these houses are also hidden too, and so what you're talking about may or may not do that.
This is the proposed house.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be hidden, that's one of the big differences, is that there's that one that sticks out. We don't have very in that one, the rest of them are hidden.
And the one at the end is,
The one's not in yet.
Yeah, that one's not in
Two-
yet.
Two condos.
Yeah, yep, I know that one.
that will be
piece.
fairly large.
Can I ask why the driveway is, because I'm the abutter on this side, where you've only got 12 feet and you have 20 feet over here, why did you move your driveway so far over here?
Because actually, that's the access to Sunset. The other,
Oh, right,
the
well-
other part is,
Is-
and the board
is-
requested.
The board asked us to put it as far over to the side.
No,
So that
I'm
it's
happy
all-
that it is, but the
Oh.
problem is that your setback on this side is only 12 feet. Your setback over here is 20 feet. I'm asking, why did you make this only 12 and not 20? If you had made that 12 and this 20, that'd be fine, you wouldn't put your
Yeah,
problem
but
in
you
here.
have, what's the brown, what's the name of the street that's
Dartmouth.
nice?
Bryn Mawr?
Dartmouth,
Dartmouth?
Dartmouth is the
Way.
one that's the paper road.
Yeah, well, that's 30 feet wide.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Here, where are you?
I'm back here. I'm more butter on this side.
You know,
I'm just saying.
where's your house?
You
Here.
can't see it, it's behind.
It's over here, it's over here,
No, it's not over there.
it's over here.
Where are you?
No, you're over here, aren't you? This is
Yeah.
Dartmouth Way.
That's
Yeah.
Dartmouth Way.
Yeah,
Right
I'm here. This is where I'm at. You made this a 12
You're north.
foot.
That's the rear of the, that's the back.
No,
I
it's
think
the
I-
side. This is my property here
Here.
too.
I think to answer your question, maybe that we wanted the garage at the highest part, where the lot is the highest
Mhm.
elevation, so that it's easiest to make it so that Charlotte can get from the garage to the house without needing to go up any steps. That's what placed this garage here.
Okay.
Does that help answer your question?
Not really, because you still can move it over by 8 feet. That's all I'm saying, is
Oh,
that, so
oh.
this is my land here, this undeveloped,
Which one
and
is
this,
that?
the undeveloped and 14 are both mine.
Oh, okay.
And you've made your,
So,
this is
but there's nothing there.
because, maybe we get to the
Oh, I-
Conservation Commission, we'll have a big discussion about that.
Perhaps the other reason is that there's a turnaround, so that you can.
Yes, I saw that,
have
it's a
an area
huge,
to-
it's a huge thing.
Oh, well, it could.
Well, we don't have any parking under the house.
Neither do I.
Commission.
Well,
Yeah.
And I don't have
That's-
storage
that's
either.
standard.
I didn't get through.
That's the
Sit down with
standard.
the last thing
No,
we talked
no,
about
no,
before we
it
put
is
this
not,
on.
and I have none,
Well,
and I
for
have
new-
no storage.
Let me clarify that. That's for new houses.
If-
Parking is generally under the house. Generally. We don't have that.
So
neither do I.
are you suggesting that you wish we had moved the
Well,
house?
the house just over a few feet, that's all I was asking. I was more asking the question, not saying you have to do
Yep,
it, I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're over here somewhere.
No, I'm right here.
So
This is my house, that's my undeveloped land there, this is your house.
you have two lots, Ruth?
I have 2 lots.
You have 2 lots.
Mhm.
Is that
What's-
accessible lot?
What's the size of the 2 lots?
Is that a-
Combined, it's about 14,000.
Okay, so this is, what are we talking here? This is 17, you've got 14.
Mhm.
Okay.
And all I'm asking is, why, is there any possibility of moving it for a few feet? But that's, if it can't be done, it can't be done.
So that's-
That's not mine, that's belongs to somebody else.
Okay,
so
so,
is yours accessible? How do you get to this extra
Through
lot?
mine, you can't get to it.
Oh, so
That's
it's
the
land.
problem. Yeah, it's
I
land.
got it, okay.
Because
but
the
she
road was
owns
never
2
built.
lots that are adjacent, so
Yes,
technically
I
they're
got it.
1 lot.
I-
Right, but that's because the road was never built, that it's inaccessible. So
Yes.
you could build the road and I could still get it,
Yes.
but it doesn't have water sewage, so that's why it's.
Or you just have double the size lot
You
because,
just have-
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
okay.
If I can get the assessor
So,
to change it.
we are at the point of understanding that what is being proposed meets the PIOD requirements.
If he doesn't-
That the project has been slightly reduced. We still have some concerns from neighbors that maybe it could be shifted slightly to be a little bit more favorable to adjacent properties. And we have this study. Does this study provide any conclusive one way or the other?
I'm not sure I've had enough time to analyze it, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out. So my understanding now is that the definition of FAR that you have is the same as the one that we have, far as far, correct?
Yes, I included basements without knowing that some may be useful basements and some may not. I'm confident that a fair amount of
If it
them
was
are.
off, okay, so if it was off, it would be only off by the basements, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. So if we were ultra conservative, and you were kind enough to list all the basements, if we were ultra conservative, we could subtract the basements and see how much that
I
changes.
gave you all the material so that you could
Right.
do that if you were so inclined.
Right.
Mara, what are your thoughts on what is presented? If it-
I mean, I'm just glad that the project was reduced from the original, because it was, in my opinion, way too big for the lot that you had. The lot actually grew. But do you need one more time to look at
If I'm
this?
the only one that does, then, you
Because
know.
I could take the basements out, I mean, just run it real quick.
No, I know, it's just, I don't know if we can do it right now. But I would like to say one thing on the project at the end, the former Plum Island Grill that you referenced. One difference was, I think pretty much every abutter turned up, and every abutter was in favor of the condo project, as opposed to having a restaurant there. It was unanimous.
Because a restaurant would be more detrimental with 125 seats versus 6 condos.
Right.
Do the math.
And that was a super unique property, because they were also willing to agree to improve town-owned property for the benefit of the town. And we don't even go there to ask for betterments in terms of development rights. But that was one of the items that was proposed there for that unique location and position, and to give something even more back for what they were asking. So we should try to keep that over in its corner.
Yeah, unique circumstance, that's a good way to put
I
it.
mean,
It's not relative to
the
comparing
only thing
to
I would
yours.
say is, I would be curious to see what the Conservation Commission comes up with, what their concerns are.
Okay, they tried to call the Concom, I didn't get through to the Concom. Have you been before them? Have you submitted to them? Have you?
We've had discussions with them, and that's why the garage is the way it is right now, it's because of conservation.
So you presented it, and they looked at it, and they said, it's kind of big, and you.
Well, we initially had the garage cut into the dune.
Yep.
We're trying to get the garage level, the same floor level, same level as the house level, which is very difficult to do because you have to drive up, or you could have a ramp up. If we did have a ramp, then we had to cut into the dune, and that was not looked upon favorably. However, you could add material to the dune, that was looked on favorably. So that was the outcome, to have a garage that.
Would you speak to at Concom?
Our consultant,
Okay.
what's his name?
Tom.
Tom Hughes, yeah.
And currently, we're talking about I forgot to mention, we also reduced square footage around the entry because we reduced the size of the mudroom quite a bit by about 50 square feet. But anyway, we're now working on the idea of a bridge, and we're allowed to have some entry area that touches the ground. And so that we've made now a narrow connector instead of a larger mudroom to the main house. That's what we've been talking to Tom Hughes, the consultant, about.
And that's the second part of the discussion with Concom, in
Yes.
order
Yeah.
to touch less.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have the building have less of a footprint, even though it's got a coverage, you'll still have less footprint actually touching the dune.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so there's been some discussion with Concom, and certainly they have to go through the Concom process and get Concom approval.
And COMCOM holds open meetings like this as well?
Yep.
All right. And will we be notified as a
They're on
butter?
Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
they
did it on Zoom before.
never got off Zoom.
They could open the room for you if you felt more comfortable being here. Mason would do that, the conservation agent.
But will they send out notification to the abutters that there's a COMCOM meeting?
Yes, conservation does it a little different, whereas I notify the abutters for zoning.
Yeah.
The applicant's responsible for conservation, but they still had to get a certified abutters list. But conservation's only 100 feet for abutters from property lines, not 300 like zoning.
Property lines?
Property lines.
Yeah, so I'm
Yep.
fine there.
Yeah, you'll be a direct abutter.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
They only have a 2-week review period versus 6 weeks for here, so.
So Jack, I'm hinging on your thoughts in terms of being able to make a decision or think about one way or the other, or whether something of time or additional information is gonna.
Well, we spent a lot of time on it. I mean, let me ask this, are we talking about making conditional approval based on COMCOM like all our stuff is?
Everything is conditional to the final end as to what hits the building inspector for a building permit. And at that point, all our decisions say that any changes whatsoever would need to come back before us by anybody, any entity, period, whether it's a town or something else or the state. Anybody that makes or affects a change to something that is in a decision we make has to come back before us. So any decision we make is conditional on what gets submitted for a building permit. That's just a matter of fact.
Okay.
Because we like to see people that have thought out their project and want to do exactly what's in for us, and we don't find favorable, and we have a lot more concern for people that just try to feel us out as to we might want to do this, we might want to do that, because we know it's going to change, and here we are trying to get you to some point of approval or denial, but we don't want to approve something that's sort of halfway there, because you just got to come back before us, and it's not fair to the neighbors to sort of present something and keep changing it. So that's how that all works out.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Somebody making a motion?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I am inclined to draft a favorable motion based on the fact that the proposed project meets all the PIOD requirements, that the project has been reduced. The project has had conversations with COMCOM, which actually forced some of those changes, which is what we understand, that if COMCOM has had a first say, then it is likely that they are on a path for approval as well. They wouldn't ask you to do some certain moves and then tell you that you couldn't do it. So that's where I stand in saying it before any motion is made, truthfully. And if there's any information that is needed, one way or the other, speak now or we'll move forward. Okay, so then I will make a motion to draft a favorable decision for this current version that is before us, as stated, that it meets all the PIOD requirements. That it's in keeping with the PIOD, and in keeping with those metrics, I do find that it is not more detrimental to the existing neighborhood for the lot sizes. I do appreciate the reduction, even though, you know, it wasn't on your behalf, but it was on COMCOM, but it's still going in the right direction to make sure that it fits within the lot. We have our standard conditions. If you're still not designing and something changes, then the building inspector will flag it, will come before us. If COMCOM makes a change, then you will have to come before us. We do have the procedure for deciding whether any change is a minor change or a major change, and minor changes we would discuss before us without advertising for a public hearing, and if it crosses that line and that line really isn't set to the side, you would have to re-advertise and come back before us and notify all the abutters for a change that is deemed significant enough to re-warrant a whole new hearing. So that's where we're at. Sarah, do you have all that, Chrissy?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
So it passes. We appreciate the public input. I would say it's the rights on your properties for meeting the intent of the PIOD is every right that you have. And so if we have that right and there's a lot size, then they're entitled, should be entitled to a certain size house.
Understand that, it's more the neighborliness of it and what's going to go on, so it's a lot different neighbor than what it is there now, so.
I do, and I know that we did kind of set a path when we divided the lots, and we did make a big effort to make this lot smaller from what was originally proposed, and if we had allowed what was originally proposed, the house would be even bigger.
But all the issues faced by Mr. Vendetti are ones that all of us, other than the one big tall house, have had to face. My house had to be picked up and moved. So, and I don't have any underground storage, and I can't park my car under my thing. I have no attic and I have no basement. So I've been very creative and also given away a lot of stuff in order to have storage. So I think that there's some of those things that aren't quite being thought through, that they need to realize that everybody's had those same issues.
And the issues that you face that maybe you can't overcome are maybe issues that your lot, someone else could have the rights or have the means in which to do something differently because of your lot size, right?
I can knock down my house right now and build something as big as what he's building. Absolutely, I understand that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but I
So-
would not do that, but that's fine.
No, I understand that, but we're trying to be fair for you and in the future, and also, we strongly try not to allow somebody to do something that would be suspect or questionable in the future. Although we say we don't hold ourselves responsible for that, that's kind of how we look at the plan, that we don't want to give away something that isn't a right that you would have, because it just becomes a problem down the road. So, we appreciate your attendance and speaking up.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
time, it's very appreciated.
I'll send you an email. I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
I only send it, I support Mason, so I want to do that.
We appreciate
So if
the,
you have any questions, just let me
I
know.
do.
Good, in front of them for my general.
We try to
Any difference?
we took into consideration comments the board made.
So
you want
do I.
some
It was
extra
up to the board.
plans?
If you send it before saying zoning, I do prefer the person.
Yeah, I think it's a total fail.
I'd like a copy of that for my son's bedroom.
Have the meeting here, or have Rex in his office.
Do you not
And,
have a date yet for
When do
Concom?
they meet? That's
They
not.
meet,
But now-
they
but now
they're on a
that we've,
reduced summer
you know,
schedule, they're on the
had
first
confidence
Tuesday of
level.
every month, so
Get on that,
in,
yes.
it's only a 2 weeks.
We're teed up.
Right.
Kind of
Yep,
annoying.
appreciate all your time.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of late in getting this submitted, so I started calling him out, if it's not in by noon on Tuesday, 2 weeks prior to the meeting, I don't have time to get the legal ad into paper, so he knows that. So he can't be late in submitting.
Okay.
So you're looking at July 7th, and it's too soon for that.
Okay, that's good, because I'm actually going to surgery next week at this time, and I'll not be available until earliest August, if not September. That's more of my concern, is conservation.
And you have the right to have that special condition
old.
added to the order of conditions that
This is
makes
really
it an
old.
issue. And if you just do another concern, just like you did with.
Larry, how's the planning board going?
Great.
Okay.
And then
Good?
you know, Mason will
Busy?
be- Wow, this very.
Yes.
Saw they knocked that house down on,
Yeah.
a lot of people were happy.
Already an improvement.
Just send me
You're right, that was.
whenever it meets again, just so I
Wow.
know, and I'll have everything.
Were they changing something out there? I saw
Yeah,
environmental
perfect.
service.
Okay. Yep, I'll
Was
do
in
that, I'll
there?
do Zoom, I'll do Zoom, but,
Yes.
The house across
You
the
always
street from the
compare
rusty
with
cans
yours of the room.
that got demolished.
okay,
Yeah.
let's put it right in the
well,
house.
they-
That's another
Yes,
story.
yes.
That's another
Good
issue.
luck next week.
Great, thank
We
you.
had a
Thank
long
you.
hearing last
Thank you.
night on that, because we wanted to,
Can we go to the
Second.
Close the meeting. Close the public
Motion
meeting.
to close the meeting?
Yep, second.
second,
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
aye.